Mansius.
Good afternoon. I'm glad to be here. I appreciated the prayer that we'd have peace. This is something I've never done before, to run for an office, but this is something I am doing now because I have some real strong beliefs that if we don't change the things in the directions of this country's heading, that we're going to have some problems that are going to create some tyranny that we have never seen before if we don't start now to make those changes. As I said, I'm Mark Mansius. I have a law degree. I'm one of the lawyers here, I guess. I also have a chemical engineering degree, and I've worked in the chemical business for about almost 30 years. I've lived around the United States. In large part, I've been moved because several of the plants that I've worked at have been closed. My personal belief, it was because of inappropriate action from the EPA. I've watched a lot of jobs go away because of this, good jobs for both blue collar and white collar. And so I do have a perspective about government. I believe in the Constitution of the United States that the federal government was giving certain limits so that it was not to encroach upon areas that are specifically stated for the states. Those limits are very small. They basically deal with the relationships between states and the relationships between countries. The rest of the work was dedicated to our states so that they could choose their own direction. Texas would choose something very different than another state would choose. There was a great purpose behind this. It was so that the states could experiment and find ways that would work and find ways that would not work. We have walked away from that and tried to create a common climate in this country. And the growth that could come from these trials has been ceasing, particularly in the last 50 years of my lifetime. We need to change that. Perhaps we're going to have to do an amendment to change that. I think that if we start to educate people about what this country was really about, we can start to change. In 1787, when these great men gathered together, they came to a meeting that was almost illegal. It was almost unauthorized by the Articles of Confederation, but they came. James Madison had a plan that they were going to create a constitution. For several weeks they argued and they argued and they argued to the point where some of them had headed home and the rest were on the process of heading home. Benjamin Franklin asked for a prayer. And then he asked for a recess. Some of you have heard what I've said before. We have no record that a prayer was made, but we do have record that all but three recognized the need for God to be a part of creating this government. They came back, and in a few weeks we had our Constitution. We can't forget God as part of this nation. His power is real and can help us bring back the direction that we need, that real freedom might reign again in this country. We have lost some of it in my lifetime. I am Mark Mansius. I am from West Columbia. I would appreciate your vote if you so choose. Thank you.
Email that to me.
Do that one more time.
And I'm not running for anything. Our next candidate is Michael Truncale.
Thank you, and it's good to see all of you on this beautiful day. Thank you for coming out. My name is Michael Truncale. Many of you already know me, but for those of you who I've not had the pleasure of meeting yet, I want you to know a few things about me. First, I want you to know that I am a son of educators, teachers. I want you to know that I'm a dedicated family man. In fact, my wife of over 30 years, Denise, is with me, and we have 2 daughters and a son-in-law of whom we're very proud. I am a lifelong conservative. In fact, when I was in college, I was president of an organization called Students for Free Enterprise. I've been a university regent, I've been a community leader, and I've been a church leader. But one thing is certain, I am not a politician. Now, I've been active in the Republican Party. In fact, in 1984, Denise and I went to the Republican Convention where Reagan took his second term. I've been a precinct chair. I'm on the state Republican Executive Committee along with Tina. And I was a delegate to the National Convention in 2008. But I've never aspired to be a politician, and I never want to be just another one of those politicians who goes up there, drinks the Kool-Aid, and forgets about the people back home. Instead, I'm running because we face some very serious problems that need our attention. I'm a citizen taxpayer, and I think that a citizen taxpayer can best address these issues, not just another politician. Why am I running? Washington's broken. Government is too big, and it exercises too much control over our lives. Just look, $15 trillion and growing every single second. That is a debt that is going to hurt our economy, it's going to harm our children, and it's going to ultimately destabilize our currency. This is something I know because in addition to an undergraduate degree in economics, I have an MBA. I studied economics at the graduate level with Dick Armey, a free market economist. And our spending is simply out of control. And that's why I stand for a balanced budget amendment to the United States Constitution. You can go online on my website and sign up that petition. Already, hundreds of folks from this congressional district have signed it. And I want to stand on the floor of the House and say that the citizens of Brazoria County and the rest of our congressional district want a balanced budget amendment to the United States Constitution. You know, entitlements must be a part of the spending cuts. We must look at that. Because my grandfather worked in a refinery, then he started a small business. He knew that the promise of America is that everyone is entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, not life, liberty, and the redistribution of wealth. And my grandmother, who had a second-grade education, taught all of her grandchildren, you're not entitled to anything unless you work for it. Now look, we face the threat of higher taxes and excessive regulation. That's what's preventing job growth in the private sector and sending jobs overseas. And Obamacare must be repealed. I do not think that it's constitutional, first of all. But if Obamacare is allowed to stand, there is no limit to what the federal government can do to you. It's going to put 111 agencies between you and your doctor, and it's going to lead to government rationing. It's wrong. It's going to cost another $1 trillion or more. We can't afford it. It's bad policy, and it must be overturned. Now, I also believe we must have border security and strong national defense, but finally, we must have energy independence. And that includes the Keystone XL pipeline to this congressional district that will bring 700,000 barrels of oil every single day. We must have drilling, offshore, onshore. In fact, the natural gas developments that we get from shale gas will help BASF, Dow, and other refineries right here in Brazoria County operate more efficiently and help us have more job growth and a sustained economy here in Brazoria County. So these are things that I'm going to fight for. My name is Michael Truncale, and I would ask that you join me so that we can put America on the path to prosperity. We don't need another politician, but we need a citizen taxpayer. We don't need somebody just of words. We need someone of action. And I think that we can work together to make Brazoria County and this congressional district the rising star of the Gulf Coast. I'd appreciate your support. Thank you very much.